Wow. Hello. We are with the writer, director, editor, Brandon Boudreaux, and his film is PKD 9000, and it'll be part of this year's Horror Block. How you doing, Brandon?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing excellent. How are things out on the East Coast?
A little snowy today, but you know, is as to be expected in February. Yeah, it's February.
That's good. How many inches you guys get?
Oh, I'm not really sure. When I ventured out last night, though, it looked about, I think maybe like 12 to 14. It was high. It was real up there.
That's shovel out your car territory.
And why I'm glad I live in a city where I don't need a car.
Yeah, that was the nice thing about Chicago. I never had to do any of that because I didn't have a car when I lived there. Same type of deal.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, why don't you start with a little bit of your background?
Oh yeah, I've worked as a editor mainly in commercials, music videos, and promos for the last 21 years now. I've done commercials for Coca-Cola, Samsung, Spotify. I was senior promo editor for MTV for about 9 years. I've done music videos for bands like The Killers. I've worked with Beyonce. And I also regularly work with Lee Ronaldo from Sonic Youth doing video installations with his partner, Leah Singer, as well as doing my own video installations and experimental films.
Awesome. So, that sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of the stuff you're doing there. So let's talk about your film, PKD 9000. So what was the inspiration for your film? And can you talk a little bit about the genre in general?
Well, the horror genre, thriller genre, whatever you want to call it, it's really based off of audience manipulation. Convincing a audience that the dead can rise and eat you, or that Michael Myers is unstoppable, or whatever your monster of choice is. And when I wanted to make PKD 9000, what I was really interested in was, how do you get an audience to believe something? How do you pull them along on a ride that seems on the surface completely impossible? And the monster I thought would seem the most ridiculous was a microwave. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the film Rubber, about a killer tire.
Yes.
Quentin Dupieux. That was a very big inspiration in a lot of ways, because Rubber is also very much about the storytelling aspect of it, not just a tire killing people, but people observing it, the absurdism of it. And that's what I was going for with PKD 9000, is that, to me, the murdering microwave was the least interesting part of it. What I really was shooting for was trying to find a way to convince an audience and pull them along and have them almost on this ride where they're fully invested in this microwave killing people. And then once they're already kind of strapped in, taking them in directions they're not expecting.
Cool. Yeah, it's very menacing.
Thank you.
And I think the score adds a lot to that. It really gives the tension for it. Do you want to talk about the score, and who did the score for your project?
Brad Guillory, who is a member of this band in New Orleans, Push Push, and his buddy Pat Condon. They had also done the score for my previous film, Neighbors, which was also a horror thriller film. And Brad and I go back, 25 years at least. And he's he always just kind of knows what I want. Him and I have a very good shorthand with each other as far as like references and understanding what I'm trying to aim for.
Cool. Well, it definitely is a very complimentary force in your short. Um, so did you shoot HD or did you shoot 4K or what format were you shooting in with it?
We actually shot uh we shot, I believe we shot in 4K. Um I'm trying to remember. Yeah, we shot all of it in 4K on Sony cameras that we borrowed from MTV. Actually, MTV, the MTV promo department had a pretty large role in the making of this movie. Actually, everything from the crew on it. Most of the people that worked behind the scenes were people that worked at MTV in the post production uh, side of it. The gear, the lights, the cameras all came from MTV. The final mix was done by a mixer at MTV. The girl who plays the daughter is the daughter of somebody at MTV. So, you know, it was really a matter of pooling whatever resources I could get together to make this film.
Whose house did you shoot at?
We shot at a house in New Jersey that a friend of mine, like a friend of a friend, a ballet teacher, Valerie Brown's house. Um, it was perfect. I couldn't even imagine a house that fit my idea of, you know, picturesque Americana suburbs. And it just happened that we shot a couple of weeks before Christmas. They had a fresh snow. They had some Christmas decorations out, a big American flag. It was already picture perfect when we showed up.
Yeah, my wife would be envious of this kitchen, honestly. Looking at a photo
Oh,
right
and
now.
they had just
Gorgeous kitchen.
renovated the kitchen. They had
Yeah.
renovated the kitchen maybe a month before we were shooting, and I was like, everybody be real gentle with everything.
Don't scoff the cupboards. They're brand new
Exactly.
and they're
I,
white.
I I was constantly terrified of a light going into their smart refrigerator that they had. That
Oh yeah.
which which I the irony of actually having one of these smart devices in there already while we had our fake one put in just added a whole extra level to it.
Yeah. This also I think kind of plays into the whole 5G, you know, zapping your
Oh,
brain conspiracy theory that's out there. So
oh,
you're
completely,
definitely
completely.
playing into that vibe with this type of
Yeah,
device. I
yeah. I
always
mean
wonder,
the mhm.
you know, they say that
uh,
you get some microwave if you're staying close to it. I don't know. There's always the argument. It's like, are our devices actually killing us by emitting rays or whatever? So
yeah.
there is that argument from like a health standpoint because I know people that's like they don't even want Wi-Fi on in their house, let alone a
Oh, yeah.
smart device. Like we got Alexa and OK Google and all this stuff around here, and there's part of me that's like, all right, are they listening? I don't know, maybe.
Sorry, I don't understand.
See, yeah, I got the
Right
lights
on
hooked up
cue.
in here with uh, Google Home, and so they're always listening, always
Oh,
listening.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that was, you know, my original subtitle for the film was PKD 9000, a suburban nightmare, because I did like the idea of this very, like I said, Americana, could be anywhere nightmare that you have all these different little small events that happen throughout. You know, you have the infidelity, you have, you know, a repairman showing up, you have, you know, kids cursing at each other. It's all these very minute things that become compounded by a murderous microwave hanging out in the kitchen.
so, I was looking at my question list here. You know, I really liked your poster. Let's take a look at. I'm going to do a screen share, and let's take a look at. Where is it? All right, so there it is, the PKD 9000, the dreaded thing.
Oh, how much I've looked at that thing. Whew.
Yeah, I'm sure. Um, so you did the animation on the screens, correct?
Correct. Yeah. I had help designing them. The original person that was supposed to help me composite and do all the effects work ended up getting completely swamped with work over a 6 month period and just never had time to do it. So I had to teach myself how to do all of this. I'm an editor. I have very limited effects skills, but this was far more than I had ever done before. And a lot of it was trial and error. There were different styles or different looks. I mean, even if you look at this picture, the PKD 9000 logo on there is composited on the front of the microwave. The screen, the touch screen, all that's all built. Um, and it was very much a challenge to make it, but I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. There's always little things I notice. I'm like, oh, why did I not, adjust that keyframe a little, or, things that I'm pretty sure I might be the only person that will
Yeah,
ever
you're the only one that notices.
notice.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty convincing, and I particularly liked the demo at the beginning. So it was all really nice compositing and After Effects work. So good
Thank
job
you,
with that.
thank you, thank you.
So tell me about your poster, because I
Right,
love
my
the illustration work. Who did the illustration? I love this look.
This was also done by a fellow Louisianian, my friend Joe Badon, who is also a filmmaker in his own right. He directed the feature films God Inside My Ear, and recently his most recent film is called Sister Tempest. They're both great sci-fi, horror, weird, beautiful films, and I really recommend people look them up. And both of them also starred Linnea Gregg, who is also in PKD 9000. She plays the girlfriend in PKD. But yeah, Joe and I also go back a long time. We all kind of grew up in the same small town in Louisiana. And I had asked him if he would draw me a poster, and kind of told him what the idea was, gave him, some small hints of, what the microwave should say or look like. But really, I was just like, do whatever you feel is right. And he came up with this absolutely beautiful piece.
Is he the illustrator by trade?
Yes, he's an illustrator. He has I believe he has an Etsy shop. He has a bunch of wonderful prints that you can buy of just great stuff. I like I said, I really look up Joe Badon. He's a wonderful artist in every way.
Do me a favor, send me his name and his link, and I'll add it to the official selection page so that he gets credit for, I'll say poster design, because one of the things that, one of the awards that we do at KaPow is we do a poster award. And I also do a poster panel where I go over the ones that I like and like the fonts and talk about art direction and things like that. And, behind me, this is like the wall of my posters. So it's one of the things that I really enjoy doing. And I feel that marketing in the film festival scenario never really gets a nod. And so that's
Oh
something that I definitely like to discuss, and, because it's,
yeah,
my profession also. I do graphic design along with web development and filmmaking. So,
mhm.
but this is like kind of quintessential to doing any type of film festival run. And a lot of people don't talk about it. And a lot of people don't
Great.
put the effort into the poster, because that's what really kind of sells anybody who's doesn't really know you or not familiar with your work to actually click on it. So it's definitely
Completely.
important. And this thing, I was just like, all right, this is pretty awesome. I like this poster. So definitely in the, this is a finalist for our poster award.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So please,
Um,
yeah, please send me his information so I can give him proper credit when I'm going to do a news article about the finalists, leading up to the
Definitely.
festival, and it's going to be part of my poster forum. So please do that.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So what's next? What are you working on now?
Oh, I'm currently writing a father-daughter werewolf feature film
Okay.
script. Um, and always kind of trying to think up other short films. I also am constantly making video installation pieces. Um, I In the pre-COVID days, a friend of mine would do these regular rooftop parties in the East Village where we'd have musicians and artists and uh, writers perform at it. And I would always have take up a giant wall of projected video pieces. Um, Hopefully, we can get back to that at some point in the future. Um, but yeah, mainly right now working on a father-daughter werewolf movie.
That sounds awesome. I did a father-son werewolf movie with my nephews probably 15 years ago.
Mhm.
And I moved and then I lost, it was a mini DV tape, but that's how long ago it was. And so like we recorded this whole thing where we were going around and like killing my dad and my brother-in-law, and they were wearing a werewolf mask. And so he just brought me back to the missing werewolf movie in my family's life. Everyone's like, "Do you ever find
Yeah,
that tape?" I'm like, I totally blew it on that one. I don't know what happened to my
it
werewolf."
really it really feels like a bit of a underserved genre as well. In my research, I've been watching just about every werewolf movie ever made, and you know, American Werewolf in London definitely is the high
Essentially,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was also that's a very important movie for me personally because when I was 5 years old, I somehow convinced my parents to take me to see American Werewolf in London. I've always been a big horror movie kid.
And then they took you
Um,
directly to a therapist after that.
you would think, but no, I totally okay with the werewolf part. Transformations, all of that was fine. But every time Jack would come back as the
Yeah.
victim, that freaked me out
When
because
he died, when he's like going, "Ow," and the werewolf's like attacking him, that scene stuck in my brain
oh yeah.
forever. Forever. That's the scene out of anything in that movie. That scene where and he's getting his neck chewed off. Dude, nightmare fodder. I'm putting it up there in the top 5 with Jaws, and then like anything that's got head trauma, like
Right.
like terrifying to me. So
No, it's always funny the things I'm not a big like Saw fan or any like gore porn type stuff.
yeah.
But the one bit of gore that still I just watched it recently. It always makes me just is in the movie Hellraiser. Isn't anything to do with the sound bites or anything like that. It's very early movie. The husband's hand gets scratched by a nail,
Oh,
and
that
I
got
always, every time I see it, I'm like, oh God, it's terrible because I know what that pain feels like. And it just hits right in there.
See, well, going back to the head trauma, the Hellraiser 2, when they twins and then they like merged their heads together, like that one,
Hmm.
like, no, that one, like of all the Hellraiser, when they squished the twins' faces together and made them one centibite, that one scarred me forever. That was for
Now I gotta go watch Hellraiser too. I haven't watched it in years, but now that you're saying that, I'm like, I think I know what I'm doing with the rest of my evening.
pretty decent sequel, in my opinion.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you start getting deep into the Hellraisers, it's like, all right, like I've seen this done
Yeah,
that.
it's a bit of overflogged of a franchise, but the first couple were great.
Yeah. Well, you could say the same thing about Friday the 13th. I mean, 5 is
Yeah.
garbage. 7, 8, 9. I mean,
Oh yeah. Once they leave Crystal Lake, it really is no point.
except for Jason 10, when they trap him in the virtual reality Crystal Lake, and he can't kill the counselors, and he keeps trying, and they're faking him out. And it's worth watching that movie for the VR scene
I
alone
don't think
because it's
I
hilarious.
think I don't think I've seen that one. I might have to revisit that or visit that one.
Yeah, so they're trying to get out of the spaceship, right? So stupid. And Jason's trying to get him. And so they like convince him he's in like Camp Crystal Lake with this like virtual reality Star Trek thing.
Right.
And these girls come in and they're completely topless, of course, like, "Hi, let's do drugs and have premarital sex." And then they like jump into a sleeping bag and Jason's just standing there, and then they like cut to the the people trying to get away in the spaceship, and then they cut back, and Jason's like hitting them against the tree, and they're going, "Ow, ow, that hurts, ow," because they don't die because they're not real, and he's getting frustrated because he like throws the sleeping. It was so dumb. It's like that movie is terrible except for that scene, and it's mostly hilarious.
And it's funny. Anytime anybody mentions it, all I can actually think of is the poster of that movie. I mean, I can picture it perfectly in my head, but
Oh, he's Uber Jason, right?
And got like the mask is like a silvery,
yeah.
spacing.
Yeah, ridiculous. Although the reboot was pretty decent. That was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, well, Brandon, it was good talking to you. It was good talking some werewolf nerd stuff. I love it, and that's the thing that I miss about film festivals. And I guess virtual reality and doing these Q&As are kind of the next best thing. So I appreciate you taking time of your day and talking with us about your film, and we look forward to seeing more of your work.
Well, thank you very much for having me be a part of your festival. It is by far and away my favorite named festival that it's played in. When I got the acceptance, I was like, oh yes, I get to say I'm in the KaPow festival. That's wonderful. Not even KaPow, the KaPow Intergalactic.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's very catchy. I love that part.
Yeah.
So. Well, thanks again, Brandon. I appreciate it. You stay safe and stay warm out there.
Thanks a lot. You stay safe as well.
All right. Talk soon.
Bye.